I'm Legend, I play this game professionally, so I can probably hit rank 1. Okay, so this is not the first game of the challenge, but it was by far the best one I played yesterday. This has a lot of really good plays, some misplays that are learning experiences, and some good RNG moments. So, we're playing against a warrior, and we're gonna get rid of everything in the mulligan because we are really trying to find Odin. Odin is the #1 priority because if we get it before they do, we can apply a lot of pressure, and we get Talon, which is essentially the same thing. They play a 1-3, the Razorfen Rockstar, which I am now losing my mind about because they're gonna gain a lot of extra armor. I don't have a response to this minion yet. And if they just hero power every turn, they're gonna gain 6 to 8 extra armor before I'm able to win the game. This is important because I'm going a deck with a little bit more counterplay. I have Bladestorm and Call to the Stand to deal with combo decks and Mech Rogue, which means I don't run things like Minotaurin, which are, an extra minion and armor, and then turn 4, they're just gonna hero power and play shield block for maximum armor gain. And then turn 4, I finally have the answer to killing the 1-3. I play my weapon, kill it, and I'm like, thank God that little, it's gone. And turn 5, I'm thinking, what are they gonna do? I'm hoping it's Talon, because they summon it, they draw Odin guaranteed, and I bait it out with Call to the Stand. But instead, they play ETC. And in my head, when this happens, I think, okay, ETC is probably Baron Rivendare. So in my head, I'm like, that's not a card like Theatar, right? Or Call to the Stand. So I'm okay to just play Talon here and get Odin in my hand. And what they do next turn is they play their weapon and they kill my Talon with their 4/4 and their weapon. But then they play fucking Call to the Stand and Shield Slam my Odin. And at this point, I am very close to conceding, but this is my road to rank 1 challenge, and I know that I can't do that. So maybe the game's winnable. Maybe they fucking disconnect or something. There's still hope, right? I just sit there in silence, contemplate conceding, but I decide not to. I decide to play Shield Block to try to draw some extra cards, see if I can find some sort of extra win condition. I hero power and pass, and then their turn 7, I'm like, okay, damn, the game is over. But then they play Talon. They play Talon, I'm like, holy shit, the game is winnable. Because if I hit their Odin with the Call to the Stand that I have in my hand, I win. So I kill their Talon with my weapon, I play Call to the Stand, I hit fucking Odin. Wait. That's not good. Okay, so I'm about to concede again here, but I'm like, you know what? No. I can play Sir Finley, and I maybe hit my second Call to the Stand. I have one more chance. I hit my second Call to the Stand. So I play the card, and I think there is absolutely no way that I miss Odin again, right? No shot! Oh, thank God. Okay, but at this point, we don't have Shield Slam or anything to actually kill the 8/8. So it's still a giant 8/8 on the board, but at least they're not going to kill me because of its battle cry, right? I still have a Titan to deal with, Odin slapping me in the face, and the card ends up being Theatar anyway, not Rivendare, which I think is a huge misplay on their part. I think that is really, really bad from them, but whatever. They end up taking my Brawl and giving me a shield block. And at this point, I make my first big misplay on this turn. I end up drawing cards. I armor up, and I play the Stoneskin Armor, which is kind of a misplay and kind of not a misplay. Because since both of us have lost Odin at this point, the game is gonna go into fatigue. That's just what's gonna happen. Neither of us have a win condition. The problem is, if I draw cards, I go into fatigue, but if I don't draw cards, I don't have removal, and I die to these big minions. So instead of killing the Titan, also, I kill the 4/4 with the Forge card. Because I'm thinking, okay, the Titan can't attack yet, maybe I can find something else to deal with it. And then they misplay by drawing an extra card using the Titan's ability, which does kind of cancel out the fact that I was drawing cards and messing up my fatigue. Next turn, again, I'm forced to draw more cards, just hoping that I can get some sort of removal. And I do actually get a Shield Slam beforehand to kill off the Odin, but I still need to draw Ignis. Ignis is the only way that I can win the game. I am currently down like 20-something HP, which means if I don't get my Ignis first, I lose the game. Also, they have an 11/11 out on the board, which is not great. And a taunt minion to protect it. So even if I do play a weapon, it's gonna be very difficult to kill it. But then I realize I have my Forged card. As long as one of those 1 damage things hits the 11/11, I target it with the 5 damage, and as long as 1 extra damage hits it, I win. And then I lose my shit. Everything goes in slow motion as I see the first thing hit the 3-5. Then the second one hit the 3-5. Then the third one hit the 3-5. And I'm thinking if I don't hit the 11-11, I lose the game. But then luckily the fourth and fifth one hit the 11-11 and I kill it with Astalor and Bash, which is very nice. Then they play the Minotaur and kill it off, and I'm thinking, okay, that's a decent amount of armor. But they're also drawing cards, which means they are also trying to find Ignis, or just don't realize that fatigue is an alternate win condition for them. I play shield block, get shield slam, hero power, and at this point I have two choices. I can leave the 5-3 alive, or I can shield slam it, even though shield slam might be useful later. I decide to shield slam it because I have to, right? I can't let them keep gaining armor, or I'm going to lose. Son of a bitch, dude! Call the stand and you hit Astalor again? I'm actually losing my mind at this point because my board's been wiped, and they just like when they sniped Odin and when they sniped Astalor, I had at least 2 other minions in my hand. I lost 2 33% chances for me to be in this position, and then I top deck the coin, and I'm like, this game is over. I can't win anymore. I just top decked the worst possible card in my deck, but then they hero power and pass, and I think, you know what, maybe it's doable. I drew Ignis, and I got the weapon. I go for the 10 mana weapon, obviously. I go for Wind Fury, and I'm thinking the only way that I can win from here is if I get the one that summons minions. And I hit the one that summons minions. I actually don't know how many options there are. Maybe that's always an option. But in my head, because I haven't played this expansion too much at this point, I'm like, oh my god, I hit it. This is so lucky. And I'm thinking this game could still be winnable. As long as they don't run Rustdraw Viper. That's not foreshadowing at all. Oh boy. But I know that turn 10 is going to be the 10-drop weapon and then coin out Burst Rift. And since I've already played one, the finale goes off, gives me 4 extra damage, which with Wind Fury is actually 8 extra damage. And then I hit Alakir the Windlord, and I'm like, this charge is insane. And then I get a 3-6, which doesn't seem good, but the Reborn is helpful if they play something like Brawl to wipe my board, and the 3-6 lives and the 3-8 lives. They play Ignis too, but at this point, they can't play the weapon, and I have a good board. So I'm like, okay, they have the Brawl they stole from me and 2 more in their deck, right? So they play this 1-drop, and they're gonna Brawl to kill my minions. And then they don't Brawl, and then they just bash my Divine Shield 3-6. So I'm like, okay, that's sick. And then I sit here wondering if I want to play the Weapons Expert for a couple of seconds, because I'm like, if they do play Brawl, that's more total minions that they are killing. But I decide to play them anyway, because since they didn't Brawl that turn, my head is saying, okay, they only have 1 Brawl in their hand. So if they only have 1 Brawl in their hand, and I force them to Brawl here, maybe it's okay. In hindsight, I don't 100% know if both of these weaponsmiths are worth it. I do 2 more damage, but I do play into Brawl a little bit more. I hit the 1-3 with my 3-8 with Reborn, which I think is pretty smart. And I know that this turn has to be Brawl. But it's not the Brawl they stole from me using Theatar. So I'm like, oh shoot, they have at least 1 more in their hand. Then they go Bellowing Flames and kill off my minions again, which is not great. But I still have the ability to generate multiple more 8-drops, so I slam them in the face a couple more times, and I did the math. They have 34 HP. I have 28 damage. I get another Reborn minion, which is nice. Does player on removal. I'm like, I don't have enough damage here. Even with the Craftsman's Hammer, it's going to be hard. I have to hope for fatigue. And at this point in the game, they have, I think, 5 or 4 cards left in their deck at this point. So I'm like, fatigue could maybe get me there if I get them low enough. So I need to high roll. Look at the Minotaur. More armor. That's terrible. But by some stroke of miracle, of luck, my 3-1 Death Rattle card hits the Minotaur. And this is huge because I don't really have another way of killing the Minotaur unless I want to commit a really good card like Execute or Bladestorm, which I know are going to be very, very important going forward. So I'm like, okay, here's what we need to do. We need to just hope that the Death Rattle hits, and it does. So then we hit them in the face with the weapon a couple of times, and we get an 8-8 and a 4-6. They play Brawl, and then they lose the 50-50. And then I'm like, they're gonna shield slam it. The game's over. I'm fucked. Then they don't shield slam it. I hit him in the face, get him down to 7. I'm like, okay, they were unlucky, but they for sure shield slam at this turn, right? They bash it, they hero power, and then they pass. I'm like, holy crap, wait, can I win this game? I think I can win this game. But then they played their Ignis weapon. I'm like, oh crap, this is not good. As long as they don't get a taunt minion here, I win the game. Fuck, you gotta be kidding me. How do they get a taunt minion here? And I sit there thinking, is there any way I can kill that taunt minion without losing my 5/5 or my 8/5 and also without attacking? No, I can do 8 damage. I have to hit the 8/8 with my weapon, execute it, go face, and they live at 1. And I'm like, damn, the game is probably over. Then they hit with their weapon and get the 6/10, and not only do they remove my 8/8, but they also get another 8/8. This is actually a bit of a misplay. I like the fact that they played the 3/4 to play around Bladestorm, but they end up playing the other 8/8, which plays into Brawl. They had one less minion to potentially play now, and it's the same reason why I didn't want to play the Weaponsmiths at first, and I think they got a little bit too excited. And I'm like, they're in fatigue now, I can win. But if they summon 2 big minions, I could die in the next 2 turns. So I need these 2 minions that they summon to have the same HP. That's an 8. And it's an 8! Holy shit! The game is winnable, I think, as long as they don't have another minion in their hand. I Bladestorm, I kill everything and I hero power, and I say the game is over. I put my headset down, but then they don't concede. And you can see my face actually, I'm like, wait, they didn't concede. What is the last card in their hand? What am I missing here? Something is horribly wrong, right? They hit me in the face and they hero power and they pass. I'm like, oh wait, what's happening? I take fatigue damage, it's a lot. I'm like, did I do my math wrong? Did I count wrong? They go down to 1 HP. I'm thinking if they have any way of gaining armor, and then they taunt me, and then they hero power, and then they pass. And I miraculously somehow managed to win this game, and I lose my mind. It was a fantastic game. I'm happy that you guys stuck around to watch the whole thing, and I hope you guys watch the other ones. All right, this next game we are against a Mage, and I decided to keep Bash because I know that they're probably gonna have at least something to play early, at the very least some volatile skeletons, but I want to get rid of the other cards to try to find my Odin, Prime, or my Call to the Stand as quickly as possible, because the only way that you can really beat Mage in this matchup is if you play Call to the Stand and you hit their Sif and you are able to kill it. So we basically mulligan away most of our stuff to try to find literally that one card, as well as Odin for the late game possibly. They play an Arcane Worm. I don't really care about it. I just hero power. Hero powering here is still pretty valuable because I'm still gaining armor at the end of that turn if the 1/2 hits me in the face. And I want to save Bash for maybe something a little bit more impactful. I don't know exactly what I'm holding it for. Honestly, I probably could have bashed it, but I'm fine not doing it. This next turn, I play the Weapons Expert to draw the 4-mana weapon because it just curves out so nicely. Turn 3, turn 4, already planned out. They've got multiple small minions that I can kill with the weapon, which is just fantastic. I'm basically hoping that they don't double trade and they decide to not double trade, which allows me to play the weapon and then kill some stuff off without having my 3/2 dice. I think it's a bit of a misplay. I think they probably should have traded in so that way I gain a little bit less armor. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. They wanted to apply pressure, which means that maybe they already have like Sif in their hand and they want to try to kill me as quickly as possible. So at this point, I'm panicking, trying to find Call to the Stand as quickly as possible. I play Weapons Expert, I believe, in order to gain some armor. Nope, I actually hit a Volatile Skeleton first and then draw cards with the Stone Skin Armorer. And then I asked to lower the 2/2 because I'd rather have some extra minions on the board so the damage goes face, or it's least likely for the damage to go face. They wipe my board, which is a little bit annoying, but it's okay, I have a plan. We play Weapons Expert to pump our weapon up to 4 attack to kill a 3/4, and then we draw even more cards. At this point, we do have a Call to the Stand, so I know that there's a possibility that we're gonna win, and I'm trying to count how many spell schools they've played at this point. So at this point, they have played an Arcane, a Fire, and a Frost. That's 3. That's not really that much to be super threatening at this point, so I don't want to play Call to the Stand too early. I don't think they're going to commit to the OTK at this point, which means I can play a little bit slower. Kill the 4/4 off with my 4 attack weapon though, because it just lines up pretty well. And then I do some trading in a way that doesn't accidentally kill one of my other minions. Then I play a weapon, gain some armor, and just relax for a little bit. They're forging another card. It's gotta be the Molten Rune or whatever it's called that can activate twice and give them random spells. And that's a pretty slow turn for them. I top deck Odin on 8, which is just perfect, and gain armor, killing off the 1/2. And I'm pretty sure that this game is wraps. They kill off my A8, but that doesn't matter, but they still haven't played that many spell schools, so things look pretty okay for me right now. We have 2 Call to the Stands at this point, which is phenomenal, by the way. We play Astalord to gain a little bit of armor, give myself some attack, and because I already know that the matchup is gonna be over really soon, I'm just trying to do as much damage as possible, right? I need to try to kill them before they at some point get Sif. And again, they've only played 3 spell schools at this point, so I'm not super worried, but I should probably look to play Call to the Stand soon. They play Solid Alibi a turn after they probably should have, and since they played Solid Alibi, I'm like, okay, this is probably going to be my Call to the Stand turn or my Astalor turn. I have 2 main options here. Playing Astalor when they play Solid Alibi, I feel like there is nothing more satisfying than that. They think they play that Solid Alibi, keeping them safe, but if Astalor does a bunch of 1 damage, you can't cut that in half. God, I hate Solid Alibi. I think it's such a poorly designed card and should probably be nerfed, but that is a topic for another day. At this point, they have played at least 1 more spell school at this point, and they're generating more spells, so I am starting to get a little bit worried. But also, if they don't have Solid Alibi, don't I just win? And they don't play Solid Alibi, they tell me well played, and I bash, and I just hit them in the face. Oh, I also play both Call to the Stands just for myself, right? Like, did they have Sif? Was the counterplay going to work in the end? It didn't, but I won the game, so it doesn't matter.